Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Wednesday, March 25th, and I just wanted to take a moment and to come to you this afternoon and say hello. I hope everyone's doing well. Um, I know that most of you were able to see the video from Sunday, and I appreciate the feedback that we had, the comments, to let me know that you saw it, that you appreciated it. That means a lot. I was looking at our total number of viewing hits on it. There was almost 300 people that attended that bit of our service on Sunday because it was shared on YouTube, it was shared on Facebook, and then shared again. And so feel free to share that every week if you would like, if the message would help someone, if the good news of Jesus Christ can reach out and touch a life that's not normally in church. That's what we want to do. So we thank you for that and for supporting that as we move forward. There's a part of me that says, boy, we just really need to bring in the music and bring in this and make it more like a church service. But then as I think about it after watching it, what we need to do is worship. And that's it. We just need to worship. And so that's how we'll move forward. We'll continue to be together to worship, to remain as the church, and to be intentional about what we're doing, because that's what we're called to do, is to be intentional, to be the church. And so in the days ahead, we're going to continue to use as much electronic technology as we have. The elders and I are going to meet on Thursday through what is called a Zoom conference. It's where we all log in through our computers, and hopefully most of us will be able to see each other. At least we'll be able to hear each other and to talk about church business. And I'm thinking that maybe that's how the board will end up meeting next month. And so we're just testing some things as we move forward to see what works. And, we're going to find ways. We're going to find ways to be the church. We're going to find ways to continue to remain in contact and to get through this, because, stuff like this, it doesn't shut God down. It's just the way it is. It doesn't shut God down, and it's not going to shut us down. And so as I was reading the devotional this morning, I thought about asking for help, because that's what the devotional was. It was titled Just Ask It. It comes from a story from 2 Kings, and I wanted to read that to you. 2 Kings chapter 4, starting at verse 1 through verse 7. The wife of a man from the company of the prophets cried out to Elisha, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that he revered the Lord. But now his creditor is coming to take my 2 boys as his slaves." Elisha replied to her, "How can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house?" "Your servant has nothing there at all," she said, "except a small jar of olive oil." Elisha said, "Go around and ask all your neighbors for empty jars. Don't ask for just a few, and then go inside and shut the door behind you and your sons. Pour oil into all the jars, and as each is filled, put it to one side." She left him, shut the door behind her and her sons, and they brought the jars to her, and she kept pouring. When all the jars were full, she said to her son, "Bring me another one." But he replied, "There is not a jar left." And then the oil stopped flowing. She went and told the man of God, and he said, "Go sell the oil, pay off your debts, for you and your sons can live on what is left." In the devotional this morning, Nicole Massey Martin was talking about how we seclude ourselves, how we step back and think, I can't ask for help because that's not who I am, it's not who I'm supposed to be, it's not how I'm supposed to react. And she said, we rationalize our seclusion thinking that we are adults, and adults are supposed to take care of themselves. We are smart, and smart people should know better. Or worse yet, we are Christians, and Christians are supposed to give charity and not receive it. In this beautiful story in 2 Kings, God connected the blessings to the woman's willingness to ask those around her for help. The only way to get empty vessels was to borrow them from the neighbors, and this was a major risk. Doing so meant confessing that she did not have what she was supposed to have, but not asking could have cost her everything, including her children. Sometimes dependence on God will require some dependence on people, and this kind of vulnerability can feel overwhelming until we remember the vulnerability of Christ. Throughout his life, Jesus allowed himself to receive support from others, even when there was a chance they'd let him down. If Christ lives in you, then you can be vulnerable too. Who's to say that there aren't empty vessels waiting in the storehouses of people you know? All you have to do is ask. I know most of you are probably sitting home pretty comfortably. You've been able to go to the store, your shelves are stocked. You're not too worried about the immediate future, whether you're eating or your bills are paid and those types of things. But yet I know there are some out there who are struggling. There are some whose jobs have been cut off because of the shutdown of the restaurants and just the businesses around. And all of that we've seen going on with the coronavirus is starting to move in and affect our community. We're starting to hear on the news about the cases around us, and we're seeing more restaurants that are taking stances where they're only doing carry out. And so just a lot of things that go on. And so I would say to you, if you know someone or if you yourself are in a position where you're in need, this is a story that reminds you that through God's blessings, through our faith in God, there are those times when we have to ask. But yet those prayers are answered. And we saw that in the story as the lady's jars just continued to fill with oil, that there are those overwhelming blessings that God provides. And that's our duty as a church. That's who we are as a church, as those of us that are able to, or to help to provide for others as we go through these days ahead. And so if you know someone, please get in contact with myself or with the church office. Let us know what we can do to help. Send me an email if you're uncertain of how to proceed, and we'll do the best we can to help anyone that needs some help, because this is a time when the church needs to be intentional about who we are. Yes, we're separated. Yes, we suspended activities, those things that we enjoy. Even some of our mission work has been suspended because there's just small groups that are working to try to meet those needs. And so the needs are going to grow, and our community is going to hurt and suffer. And so reaching out to the community and finding those moments when we can still be the church, that's our responsibility. And so I ask for each of you to be mindful of that. I know there's still some in our congregation that have no way of communicating because they don't have internet. And so we're working to burn a CD where maybe we can drop that in the mail each week and they can enjoy the service also. You know, when we were filming, when I was filming the message for this past Sunday, and I was thinking, boy, you know, we need to bring in the strings and let the music play and let's get this thing going. But we don't have any strings, and I couldn't figure out how to add music to this. And in the end, you know, I was watching some different things on the internet where some had full worship services with the bands and the whole thing. There were those there that provided that, and that was great. But then others were just giving a message, and that was great. And the bottom line is, we came together and we worshiped for that moment. And that's what's important, is that we worship. It's not about attending a service. It's not about just sitting down and being in a video call or a video conference or whatever it is. It's about being present to worship and to hold God up and to praise Him and to let the community see that as the church, we are not stopped, that the coronavirus has not stopped us. Yes, we're being cautious, but it hadn't stopped God, it hadn't stopped us, and we're still here to help. And so those opportunities are out there to help, and I need you to help me find those as we move through the week. So don't be scared to ask. If you're in that position, don't be scared to ask. If you know somebody that needs that help, let's figure out a way to help them. I love you. I hope you're doing well, that you're staying in. I told one of our parishioners the other night to keep her butt at home, and I'm telling all of you, please be cautious and do the same. If you don't need to be out, don't be out. We've just been very cautious about letting anyone in the church, and part of that is because I'm trying to stay healthy so that we can move forward and be ready to hit the ground running when they say that we can meet again. And so I wish the same for all of you. So look forward to seeing you on Sunday morning at 10:30. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.